Christopher, you were at the game last night. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, Skip, I feel you. I've been there before. They jump through the gym. They're shiny.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin's one of the greatest dunkers we've ever seen. DeAndre Jordan is a physical marvel. Chris Paul, one of the best floor generals the game has ever known. Doc Rivers, brilliant resume, plays the media like a harp. J.J. Redick, one of the best shooters in the league. Jay Crossover, shaking you up like he's at Rucker Park. You want to believe.
But
They have it all, right?
there's a
But
but
they'll
coming.
break your heart. And they're going to break your heart. Because there's no way.
Actually, I'm a Spurs fan, but that's okay.
This is your pick. Don't run
No,
from
I'm
it
not
now.
running from it. We
Don't
talked
run
about
from it.
No. I said
There's
they're
no
gonna win
way
the
they can beat Golden State in a 7-game series. And the biggest thing is that they know it. They know it. You saw last night there was a team that's mentally tough, and there was a team that's not so much. And I say that because these teams don't like each other. Dating back to 2014 in that series.
Right.
Okay? And what does that do to the Warriors? That anger fuels them to play at their peak level. With the Clippers, they get so hyped up and so amped up that they start forcing things and not executing. Blake Griffin starts forcing stuff, has 7 turnovers last night. His shots are long or short. He's missing shots he normally makes. J.J. Redick is not a factor against them because Clay is just too big, too long. They don't even have to guard Baamute or DeAndre Jordan. So a lot of times it's 3-on-5 or Doc has to get Baamute out of there, his best defender, and go with Austin or Jamal Crawford.
Right.
And it's just a terrible matchup for them. And then they're in their heads. 7 straight losses, as you said. They know they can't beat them. They could beat the Spurs, I believe. They could give Cleveland a tough series, but they can't play with the Warriors. And that's the
And
problem.
we're talking about the same Clippers who just a week ago went to Cleveland and won 113-94. So I feel you on that one too.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Cleveland, irrelevant.
And by the
to
way, I also feel you on, do you remember what happened before that draft, Blake Griffin versus Steph Curry, when I told you I would take Steph #1 overall? Everybody on the old show laughed at me. I've never liked Blake Griffin, but I thought it was his year, as talented as he is, to rise up along with Chris Paul and DeAndre and that new bench that they have and walk through a slightly cracked open door, because I thought it was going to take Golden State a while to assimilate Kevin Durant. I don't know. Last night, I didn't like the Warriors on offense because you will never see them shoot the ball any more poorly in a big stage game against a contender than they did last night. So maybe the anger that they were fueling was only on the defensive end, because they took it up to an elite level on the other end of the floor, which I did not see coming. But if you told me, as I said to Shannon earlier in the show, sitting here yesterday, that Klay Thompson coming off scoring 60 would miss his first 5 shots, I'd say advantage Clippers. And if you told me that Steph Curry would go 0 for 8 from 3, I'd say, got it, right?
Yep.
If you told me Kevin Durant would go 1 for 6 from 3 and 5 for 17 and miss an early dunk where he just threw it off the back iron, it went in the 4th row, I'd say, we got this one, those Clippers at Staples, right?
Yeah.
And if you'd even told me that the Clippers would outscore Golden State over the final 3 quarters by 1 point, I'd say, they'll be just fine tonight. Nope, it was over before the first quarter was over, because my man Blake Griffin from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma, he turned it over 5 times in the first 6.5 minutes. Do you know what pace of turnovers that is? That's on pace to set the all-time record, to shatter the all-time record.
Probably for 4 games.
Well, for 4 games, because Jason Kidd's got the 1-game record of 14, and if you have 5 in the first 6.5 minutes, I couldn't recognize him. And maybe to your point, he's just trying to do things that are completely out of control.
And don't you think Draymond's?
Well, I know Draymond got way in his head, but I was covering my eyes saying, who are you and what are you trying to do? Because every time you turn it over against this team, they don't have to shoot threes. They shoot layup line. It's just
That's what it was.
pass, layup. I'm talking about right-handed layups at the rim, right?
Yep.
Well, if you keep doing that, you're going to lose the first quarter 37-18, which they did, and it was game over. I don't know if the stage was too big for them, but I agree with you. That was horrendous for the psyche of the Clippers, who had a huge win. And I kept telling Shannon, they'll point to certain games. They pointed to LeBron, and they took care of that one. And they pointed to this one, and they got annihilated on their home floor, and it's a huge psychological setback for this team. And you're probably right. Today, they don't think they can handle this other team, but the other team has to have some doubts about the way it shot the basketball, because if you catch them on that night, the Spurs would have won that game.
Don't you think, though, that makes Golden State even more confident? That we didn't even, our two best players didn't even play well. None of our 3 stars shot over 50%, and we still waxed them.
And J.J. Redick scored 21 against LeBron and company in the first half. 21 in the first half, and Steph Curry did a number on him. He couldn't get a shot up. He scores 2 for the game. Come on. That's embarrassing. That's like go home stuff.
And without Redick getting 15 to 20, without Jay Crossover getting his 20, Bob Muto, you got to give them something.